Alright, Alright, hey guys, Mel224 here with a special video, and this is going to be my honorable mentions of this year. I was actually not going to plan on making a video of this. It was actually kind of dumb. Well, that's what I thought at first, but eventually I was saying, like, because I'm doing a top 30 list later on, and I have 10 albums that I listened to that didn't make the list, so that's why I think I'm doing this. Let's get right to it. So at number 10 is Interferum's Unsung Heroes. Now Interferum is don't get me wrong, they're a very, very talented band, but you know, this is my first exposure to folk metal. This is my first exposure to the band, so with Interferum, I really didn't know what I was expecting at all, because my uncle, he's a fan of folk metal and stuff like that. He's into like a lot of bands like Interferum, a lot of folk metal bands. So he was telling me I should listen to this, and I'd been hearing about them a lot in the past couple months. So I decided to listen to this album. It's a really great album actually, but you know it probably has to grow on me because this, like I said before, this is my first exposure to folk metal. So yeah, at number 9 is Stone Sour's House of Golden Bones Part 1. Now, Stone Sour, for those people who don't know, that they're not the side project of Slipknot. They actually formed before Slipknot. Corey Taylor was a part of it. They broke up in '97 because Corey was joining Slipknot. So then they reformed in about 2002. But this album is part 1 of two albums. House of Golden Bones Part 2 is actually going to be releasing next year, and I'm going to be looking out for that. But this album actually was not as great as it's not my least favorite, but it's like not as good as the other albums. This is the only album that I haven't listened to is Audio Secrecy, but honestly, nothing could honestly touch their first album. Their first album is probably in my top 10 albums ever. But this album is still a very good album. It's not my least favorite though, but it's probably like number 3 or something like that in order of my favorite Stone Sour albums. So at number 8 is Shadows Fall as Fire from the Sky. Now Shadows Fall, I'm a really big fan of. They've been like a band that honestly I love. Like, they're probably one of my favorite bands. Well, they're kind of the band that got me out of thrash metal. Shadows Fall and Soilwork were the bands that got me out of thrash metal and stuff like that, in traditional heavy metal and stuff like that. And when I was really into Shadows Fall, I was really digging their first 2 albums, Sound Rise to the Sky and Of One Blood. Those are like probably those are my favorite albums by the band. I didn't really bother to check out anything else of them, and then I heard that they released a new album, and I decided to listen to it. And this is a great album, but this is really my first exposure to Shadows Fall from basically the balance on. I know that sounds that's something you probably won't hear, but this is honestly I like it and all, but I kind of have to get used to the new. It's not really new, but like I have to get used to Shadows Fall's new sound, not from their first 2 albums. And at number 7 is Reflections with the Fantasy Effect. This band is unsigned. They're pretty popular for an unsigned band, and this is their debut album. I think so. I'm not too sure, but yeah, this is a great debut album. It's like the progressive metal, if you would call it gent. Gent is more of a guitar tone, but that's just me. This is really great progressive metal with a lot of like genty, groovy breakdowns and stuff. It kind of gets a little bit repetitive for me, but this is still a really great album. So at number 6 is Overkill with the Electric Age. Now, with Overkill, because back in like probably a couple of years ago when I was really into like Megadeth and stuff like that, I was kind of getting tired of them. So I asked my uncle name me some thrash metal bands I should get into, and he was telling me like bands like Overkill and Testament and stuff like that. And then I listened to Overkill, and like Overkill out of the thrash metal bands, they're probably the band that I really like the least. Like they're the band that I listen to the least. But this album is really great. It's a really great thrash metal album, and for their 16th album, a band that has 16 albums, this really just shocks me that they can still pull great albums. They're probably one of the most consistent thrash metal bands ever, and I think they're one of the first thrash metal bands. They formed in like 1980, and with 16 albums, you would probably expect them to be like, I don't want to insult them, but not them, but the band that I'm talking about. They're kind of like. I thought they would be in like the Metallica phase. They only had 9 albums, Metallica, and there are only like five or six good albums by them. But not talking about them. So at number 5 is Impending Doom with Baptized in Filth. Impending Doom is honestly, they're a great deathcore band. They're a very consistent deathcore band. They were like, in their first album, God, I forgot the name, I'm sorry. With their debut album, I'm just gonna check. With their debut album, it was just very good. And oh yeah, Nailed, Dead, and Risen. With that album, it was more like a brutal deathcore, because it really had like a lot of brutal death metal vocals and stuff like that, and it was like very quick. And then like as time, like as their second album and third album went, they're kind of less brutal but like more deathcore. But with this album, like the vocals are like really great. Brooke, he does awesome. He's an awesome vocalist, but he does one of those vocals like the new metalcore stuff, like you know when they growl and then they go to like the immersed the stuff, like I don't wanna. I'm probably gonna ban if they go like or something like that. I'm not sure. I just completely fucked up on that. But the vocals, they were like it was kind of like iffy on that. Everything else was really great. So at number 4, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this because this isn't like very high on my list, or because this isn't even on my top list of the year. And this is this is The Faceless with Altheism right there. This isn't my copy of Altheism, this is my brother's, but he was when Altheism came out, I didn't even bother to listen to it. I listened to it probably, when did I first listened to it in November. That's like a month ago. So that was really when I decided to listen to it, because my brother was like, dude, you should really listen to Altheism. He's like you should do it before you do your list, because it has to grow on you. And that's what I think with this, because when my first listen to Altheism, I'm like, it's good, but I don't understand why people think it's like so, special. But I have to give this album a lot of listens. I have to give this album a lot of listens, because my brother at first he was all iffy about it, but now he just loves the album. He loves the album, and with Altheism, that's what I think it honestly has to happen with me, but it just hasn't happened yet. So that's why I tell my album mentions. But don't get me wrong, it's a really great album. It's really great. At number 3 is Dodecahedron. Dodecahedron, I think that's how you say it, with their debut self-titled album entitled Dodecahedron. Now, like I said, this is their debut album. This band is more of like black metal, avant-garde, experimental, but they're really freaking good. I'm not really into the whole black metal stuff, but with this, it's just very because when they pull off the like experimental combined with the black metal, it's very great. And this actually has Mitchell from Exhibius, which he is the other guitarist. So like these guys are in like other bands and stuff like that. They're all in like different bands, but I wouldn't really call it a supergroup because all these bands aren't really too big, if you know what I mean. But yeah. So at number 2 is Elitist with Reshaped Reason. Now, Elitist, this is their first full-length album. It's not their debut record, but it's their first full-length album with 10 tracks, and they formed in 2010, so they only been around for 2 years, and they released 3 albums with Caves, Earth, and Reshape Reason, and they all had like different vocalists and stuff like that. I forgot the first vocalist's name, but on Caves, and that EP is just awesome. It's probably one of my favorite. It's a great EP. And then with Earth, like, they have another vocalist. His name is Alex D. Hart, and that was probably my favorite vocalist in Elitist. And then he after Earth, I think 3 members of Elitist left the band, so it was only the bassist and Julian. But with this, they got a new vocalist named Chris Bailey. He's in a collaborative project with Julian Rodriguez called Forever Orion. But this album is very great. It kind of gets repetitive, if you know what I mean. It kind of does get repetitive for me, but other than that, it's a really great album. That's why it's on number 2 for me. And at number 1 for my honorable mentions is Pathology with the Time and Gate Purification. Pathology, great brutal death metal band. I just checked out Metal Archives a couple days ago, and it seems like Jonathan Huber and Oscar Ramirez, which is the vocalist and bassist, they're not in the band anymore. So now it's just the drummer and the guitarist now. They're totally looking for a bassist and a vocalist. But with this album, it's 13 tracks ranging for 30 minutes. Now that's a very, very long, very short. Now this band has been known for making short albums and stuff like that, but with this album, it's just great. It's like to the point, very, very aggressive. Jonathan's vocals, it's just awesome. He's probably one of my favorite vocalists in like brutal death metal, and it kind of gets a little bit repetitive for me in this album, so that's what kind of like puts it in the honorable mentions from the list. So yeah, that is my list. Hope you guys look out for my top 30 albums. And so yeah, till my next video, keep it metal and stay tuned to another album review. I mean, not album review video.